Hey, what's up everybody? Bob Smith here. I wanted to talk to you about the 4 universal firearms safety rules. So recently I've put up a couple of articles regarding Dog the Bounty Hunter's family and the accidental shooting of his grandson. I believe that everybody, adults, should own firearms. No questions asked. But I also believe that if you're going to own them, you need to seek out training all the time. You can't say, I took a class 20 years ago. A good friend of mine who was a Marine recently told me, man, I just took my concealed carry class. He goes, they told me I had to study for it. And this was in Missouri. And I laughed. I went, yeah, well, some classroom works, so you do have to take a pen and paper. And he goes, yeah, but I walked in thinking, I'm a Marine, you can't teach me anything. And he said, you know, the qualification was pretty difficult. I don't know what the qualification is there, don't really care. But he had the mindset of, can't teach me anything, I already know, instead of continually trying to progress. Now, in the case of Dog the Bounty Hunter, I have people who are like, man, do you know Dog? That's people back in the Midwest. That's the greatest show ever. Man, that's the best show I ever seen. And I know people like that. Those are the people who are potentially a problem. Because Dog's attitude is, no matter where he goes, he projects that he is the subject matter expert of everything, no matter where you go. And he believes it. He's convinced himself of this. His family apparently does the same thing. But if they would have just adhered, as anyone who owns a firearm, if you own a firearm, you need to be able to recite this in your sleep. The 4 universal firearm safety rules. So let's think about this. Dog's stepson shot his own son, Dog's grandson, in the face at close range while they were taking a picture. If Dog's son had the wherewithal, I don't know why he was in possession of a loaded firearm if he doesn't know the 4 universal firearm safety rules. Even people who don't know the rules know, hey, I shouldn't point this gun at people. And he did. And there were terrible consequences. But if he would have adhered to the 4 universal firearm safety rules, his son is right there taking a picture. I need to treat this gun as if it's loaded. That's my child. I am here on this planet to protect my child. Well, he didn't do that. Never point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. Sadly, that's the only word that can describe this terrible tragedy, because he pointed the gun at his son while they were taking a picture, because his son said, that looks cool. Keeping your finger straight and off of the trigger until you are ready to fire. How many times have all of you seen somebody posing, finger on the trigger? Matter of fact, I posed one last year of one of the gun ranges, indoor ranges here, whole group of people. They're pointing muzzles at each other of real firearms, fingers on the trigger, everything. And keeping your weapon on safe until you're ready to fire. If they would have adhered to these 4 rules, anybody who owns a firearm, you need to understand this, especially if you're running a Glock or a SIG P320. But any of these firearms rules, his child would be alive right now. All he had to do was treat that gun safely and carefully. Treat it as if it's loaded. Okay, well, I better keep the barrel pointed down. Don't point anything you're not willing to shoot. Hey, look at me. Keeping the finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. The finger never touches the trigger until your sights are on target. And keeping your weapon on safe until you're ready to fire. I interact with a lot of firearms enthusiasts all the time. And I know of one guy off the top of my head, I've seen him muzzle his wife several times. And he's all like, what? Finger on the trigger. All the time. I have to constantly remind him, get your finger off trigger, finger off trigger, finger off trigger. Flags himself, puts his gun in his holster, and he'll go like this. Point the barrel at himself. to find the holster. Pull the holster out of his pants and then do this with the holster in his hand. So many unsafe acts, I can't even count them all. But if you own a firearm, more than one, you need to be training all the time. All the time, even if it's just dry fire. And even at dry fire, you exercise those 4 universal firearm safety rules. I keep my gun pointed in a safe direction. I keep the weapon on safe. I don't point at anything I'm not going to shoot. I keep my finger off the trigger. You can mix those up in any order and they still work. So this tragedy happens all the time. And I see guys all the time who violate these. Even worse is guys who violate them, they're like, no, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Because they don't want to hear criticism. And it's like, well, you're an idiot, first of all, and you're trying to impress people with how much you know, and at the same time, you're pointing your muzzle at your wife. You're cracking rounds off behind her head. Fingers on the trigger, waving your muzzle around. You didn't even check to see if the firearm was loaded. Those things all come into play every time you pick up a weapon. So if you guys aren't training, start training, please.